Welcome back to another episode from the Detroit Den 313. Steve here. I got another good episode in regards to the Detroit Lions today. First and foremost, before I get into it, I just want to say the training camp schedule officially came out for the Detroit Lions. If you don't know what those dates are, I did post that on our Twitter account. Give us a follow. There's some offers in there for just season ticket holders where they can go to practices. And I looked, and unfortunately I have to work. But there are some other open practices. If you guys don't have that information, I posted it on our Twitter page. Check that out. We are getting dangerously close to training camp. We're less than a month away. It officially starts on July 27th for the vets. The rookies report, the practice is open on July 27th. Well, training camp actually starts on the 23rd with the rookies reporting on the 20th. So we're getting there, guys. And most of our Detroit Den 313 episodes from here on out, we are going to try to keep those, slowly start working our way towards training camp stuff, battles, what to watch for, matchups, these bloodbath, position fights that Brad Holmes mentioned. So today I just want to ask you guys a question. One of our best free agent signings this past free agent period, in my opinion, this offseason was DJ Reader. You can make a strong case for Carlton Davis, but I think Carlton Davis is just going to be a guy that goes out there, locks down a number one wide receiver. We call it a day. We don't ever have to talk about him. I mean that in a good way. DJ Reader, I think he provides more of a ripple effect. I think he's going to affect a lot more people defensively in a good way. And I was just thinking last night, who is he going to help benefit the most from his addition? And I think the easy answer, without a doubt, like blink of an eye, Aiden Hutchinson. That's just too easy of an answer for me to do an episode on. Aiden Hutchinson, I'll talk about it real quick. I think he will have a monster year. He really started absolutely exploding last year, especially late in the season when we needed him the most. And I say that because he's caught some criticism from a network locally, if you guys know who I'm talking about, that they needed to see more out of him. I would rather see Aiden Hutchinson dominating football games in playoff push time, playoffs, and meaningful games. Now, I'm not saying he has to go out and get 25 sacks. I'm not saying he has to do that like some people are expecting. I'd rather him dominate important games. And as long as the team is winning, I don't care what Aiden Hutchinson's doing. As long as this team is winning games, winning division titles, winning playoff games, and our ultimate goal, winning that Super Bowl. Aiden Hutchinson is just an easy answer. I'm only talking about it because it's so obvious, but I do have a player that I'm going to name here in a little bit who I think is going to have tremendous production because of DJ Reader. But I predict Aiden Hutchinson. I look at what DJ Reader did with the Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson becoming one of the most underrated and dominant pass rushers in the NFL. A lot of people don't even know about Trey Hendrickson unless you're a diehard NFL fan. If you're just focused on the Detroit Lions, Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati Bengals, this dude was an absolute monster, and he really thrived when DJ Reader got there. He was still pretty damn good, but I think DJ Reader really catapulted his career. So Aiden Hutchinson, easy answer. Now I'm going to get into who I think is going to benefit the most from DJ Reader. And I think that is second-year player Jack Campbell. Captain Jack, as we call him here, even though he's not technically captain, it's just a nickname. I think he's going to have a monster season because DJ Reader, we say it all the time, he's going to be taking up a guard and center blocking combination. That's going to provide more room for Jack Campbell to roam free, to not have to worry about linemen gapping down to him and getting him in a block in the run game, and as well as kind of being a little bit more comfortable in the pass game. I think that's where I would really want to see Jax take a step forward in the defense, is how he protects the middle of the field, his portion in the passing game, because last year he was not very good. According to PFF, his pass defense was a 35.3. That's not very good. He's a rookie. There's going to be some learning curves. I've personally said that I think coming into the NFL and learning linebacker position and having a lot of expectations is the hardest position, one of the hardest positions on the defense to learn. You could argue some cornerback. I really think they have a lot of responsibilities too, but Jack's being groomed to be the captain of this defense. He's being groomed for that green dot, to get guys in the right place, get the right alignments. there's going to be some learning curves. And I think we saw a little bit of that last year. I really want to see Jack grow with how he defends the pass. I'm not saying he didn't make any plays in the passing game, because I remember week 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs, he had a pass breakup that really kind of helped us get that win week 1 against the defending champ, the Super Bowl of the Chiefs. So Jack can make plays. It's just he needs to do it a little bit more consistently. So I think with DJ Reader there, what I really want to see Jack do in the run game to improve is commit faster, faster reaction. It just seems like at times to me, he's just a millisecond, a little bit behind in his reaction, but he can cover for it with his great athleticism. It's just sometimes his recognition is literally just like a millisecond off to me. And again, I am no pro scout. I'm no coach at any level. I'm just a diehard fan. I watch things, I hear things, and I kind of see, okay, yeah, I can see what they're talking about. I see it now as well. Once it's been taught to me, I can figure out what's been going on. And I see Jack just a millisecond late, whether that's speed of the game coming from college to the NFL, I don't know, but it's just a learning curve. I'm not worried about it. He's going to be fine. What Jack Campbell has done really well is this offseason. That's all I've heard about him in these mandatory mini camps, OTAs. It sounds like he's been in the right positions in the passing game defensively with 2 interceptions, dropped a 3rd from Hendon Hooker. And you know me, I'm not a big stats guy when it comes to interceptions. I think it's a sexy stat that a lot of people look at. I look at people just getting stops on 3rd down is more important to me. If we get the ball in our defense's hands and we get a turnover and put that ball back to our offense, great. But most importantly and more commonly, I want to get stops on 3rd down and forced punts. If we get a turnover, fantastic. But Jack Campbell getting those interceptions is telling me that everything I just said about his poor pass defense rating of 35.3 tells me that he's in the right position. It tells me that he's making good reads. He's learned, he's growing. I think that is the most important thing, is just seeing depth or seeing progress. He's going to be okay. I'm by no means worried about him at all. When we were doing our mock draft shows last year, and I was saying that I would take Jack Campbell in the 1st round at pick 18, people were calling me absolutely crazy. When it actually happened, I was like, man, I could puff my chest out a little bit. And, maybe I had a little bit of bragging rights, like, hey, I told you this guy was going to be a good pick, and he will be. He's just got to go through that that maturity of coming from the college game to the NFL, because it's much faster at every position for every single player. So he's going to get it figured out. I think DJ Reader is going to help him. He's going to be able to slow the game down because of DJ. And what Jack Campbell was really, really good at last year is when he decided and what he knew exactly what he was going to do, his freak athleticism, he looked like one of the fastest guys on the field. And I know he's not, but when he decided to blitz or when he was coming off the edge, he is a freak. When he knows, hey, that ball snapped, I'm going. When he doesn't have to think is when he's at his best. When he just knows, all right, on this play, whatever the play call is, I'm blitzing up the middle, I'm blitzing off the edge. His athleticism, and if you remember his combine score, he had like a 9.98 RAS score, something like that. It was crazy. He was like one of the top 10 linebackers the last 50 years in athletic score. So he's got just phenomenal athleticism. If he can just tune in on that recognition, and he's going to be an absolute beast. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Where he did struggle a little bit also last year was, I noticed some games where the Detroit Lions put him at defensive end and really wanted him to rush the passer from that way. I can't remember which games it was. I want to say it was like Carolina and Atlanta or something. I remember seeing him at defensive end. And I think that was just Aaron Glenn experimenting and testing the waters to see exactly what he could do. Rushing from the defensive end position against a left tackle that is, left tackles and right tackles in this NFL are absolute freaks. They're probably like the 2nd most important position on the offense behind the quarterback. So putting Jack Campbell in the dirt, hand in the dirt, and telling him to go rush was a little bit underwhelming, but it's not Jack's fault. I really think that was just Aaron Glenn and Brad Campbell, or Dan Campbell, Brad Campbell. Wow. I mean, they might as well be the same person. I think that was just them testing the waters to see what he could do, because we've been kind of hearing that this offseason too about a lot of players taking reps at edge. And I don't want to spoil it because I got an episode for you guys later, either today or tomorrow, that I'm going to talk about that. And so I think they were just testing the waters with Jack, seeing what he could do. And it wasn't great. And I'm not trying to knock him. Like I said, it was just a test. When you put him at that defensive end spot, he was just overmatched physically. Like, it's hard to get around these monstrous tackles in the NFL that are just absolute freaks. Like, but that's why Penei Sewell's so great. Like, it doesn't matter who you put on that other side, he's going to lock him down. Like, it's a double-edged sword. It kind of happened with Jack Campbell too. But when he rushes from the middle linebacker spot or even the Sam linebacker position, his speed and athleticism, where he can kind of have a little bit more room to work and put a move on someone. I specifically remember the Raiders game, and I've mentioned this before, where he blitzed up the middle and he looked like he was shot out of a cannon against Jimmy Garoppolo. Tackled him a little low, but he did affect the throw, but it 100% was a personal foul. He tackled Jimmy Garoppolo well below the knees, not on purpose, not a dirty tackle. It just kind of happened. But just remember that being right in front of me. Like we were sitting in that end zone. I was like, damn, Jack Campbell looked like he was shot out of a freaking gun, and he got there fast. He was very disruptive. I want to see more of that. So my thoughts with Jack Campbell is get a little bit better with the recognition of the run game. You'll be fine. Athleticism will get you there. You know, just trust your brain. That's all I'm going to say. And get a little bit better in the pass defense. What I've seen this offseason, like I said, just to recap, looks good in mandatory minicamp. And from what I've seen, basically 3 interceptions tells me that you're in the right position. Another honorable mention that's not as obvious of a name is I cannot wait for DJ Reader to get his hands on Broderick Martin. I'm not going to do a full dive. A lot of people have been talking about Broderick Martin. He's slimmed down, lost some weight, looks good. If he can learn that technique from Terrell Williams, one of the best defensive line coaches in the NFL, Brad Holmes' words, not mine, but I truly, truly agree with it. I said it before Brad Holmes, coming from the Tennessee Titans. If you're not familiar with the Titans, they've had a dominant offensive line for quite a bit. They just had some other tinkering issues that they didn't, quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line. But their defensive line the last 5-6 years has been very stout. I'm looking for Terrell Williams to get his hands on Broderick Martin as well. So Terrell and DJ getting to work with Broderick Martin, who I think is going to have a big role on this team on the defensive line. Seeing him come in is probably that second string of defensive tackles. I cannot wait for that as well. If Broderick Martin has learned some technique and leverage with his slim down size, it's going to be a problem. Our run defense was already top 2 in the league. Don't let us get better, and don't let us get better in the pass defense with our new secondary. Jack Campbell taking a step, Aiden Hutchinson getting more pressures, Aleem McNeil. Thoughts and prayers to this league, guys. Leave a comment. Let me know how you feel. Who do you think DJ Reader is going to help improve this defense the most? No obvious answers. You can't say Aiden Hutchinson. That's my only rule. Leave a comment. Stick around. I'll be back later with another show.